This is Sunday Focus, a weekly public affairs program that looks at the topics affecting our society and the people who are making a change in the community each and every day. The people who have vision for the next generation. Sunday Focus presents new challenges for us, keeping you informed with topics of local and regional interest. Now the host of Sunday Focus, Christine Manica.
Welcome back to another edition of Sunday Focus. Now, we've had this next guest here in the studio for a variety of reasons, and now she is stepping in very nicely into her new role with the SDCEO Women's Business Center. In fact, she is the director of this organization's East offices. Sadie Swier, everybody. Hi, Sadie.
Hello.
Did I get that right?
You did a good job.
So what's the full title of that?
I'm so glad you asked. And you can see right now I don't have anything in front of me, so I can rattle this off. I'm the new director of the South Dakota Center for Enterprise Opportunity East Division Women's Business Center.
Okay, I'm not going to make you say all of that.
Otherwise known as SDCEO East, but it's a new Women's Business Center.
Excellent. You know, you've been really busy the last couple of months, and it's all for good reason because of this job, what you've been up to. Huge congratulations. It's a big opportunity for you and for you to connect to businesses and organizations. I'm saying this as a friend. I'm saying this as a colleague. And it must have been really tough for you to leave downtown Sioux Falls Incorporated. For anyone that isn't familiar, she was the face, the voice of DTSF, pretty much. So let's kind of rewind it and look back. When you think about your time at DTSF, can you believe how much you've accomplished in that short time with them?
Ooh, well, that is a really good question. And I love my story with downtown Sioux Falls, and it has such a special place in my heart and a special place in my professional journey. And I grew up right outside of Sioux Falls in Hartford, and I was originally connected to DTSF when I was a high schooler, and I did a job shadow there. And so that's really where I first got connected, and the folks there were great. And so I just kept in contact with them after I graduated high school, throughout college. And then I was an intern in college. And that's where I truly fell in love with the organization and its mission. And then when I graduated college, they had a position open and the stars aligned. And so I took that position, and it really was an admin position. And so I was answering phone calls, I was taking meeting minutes, but I was also doing social media and helping with marketing. And so it really is a story of a person that, you know, starts off and you're learning everything you can at the bottom of the ladder. But then after the last 4 years and people transitioning and gaining more responsibility at downtown Sioux Falls, that's where I ended and really fell in love with being the community outreach manager. So like I said, going from meeting minutes and answering info emails to helping fundraise and doing all things PR, doing interviews and really representing downtown Sioux Falls and getting people excited about how vibrant our community is. And so that was a little bit of my background, and it was such a great place to grow, not only professionally, but personally. And I think we can all remember how tough these last couple of years were with the pandemic, and really rallying around our small business community taught me a lot about resilience and growing, but also being flexible and fluid. And I just deeply appreciate that, and especially doing it in my home community of South Dakota too. So my heart bursts with pride and happiness, and I just really appreciated it. But when this next opportunity came up, I just knew this was the next chapter too.
Well, if you think about it, in your short career, your young career, you really started with downtown Sioux Falls. That was your whole entire career.
Exactly, yes.
Up until this point. So you definitely thought it was an opportunity then to spread your wings and to kind of look to see what else is out there. Am I right in saying that?
Exactly. Yeah. And to be honest with you too, that felt like a vulnerable point too, where I was in a space where I'd only known downtown Sioux Falls. Luckily, within that organization, we get to meet so many different people and we get to be so connected to the community that I still felt confident that I was very aware of what other businesses, other companies, other organizations were doing. But yeah, I mean, I only knew downtown Sioux Falls. And also my other longest stint was as a lifeguard at Wild Water West. But but I'd say this was a little different than that.
That's step up. That's totally step up.
So, and then I was connected with this, and this new position, I like to say, we're on the same road as downtown Sioux Falls. We're on the same road as the Chamber of Commerce. We're on the same road as, the Small Business Administration, Startup Sioux Falls, all of these organizations that want to help local businesses, small business, propel that economic development. We're just in a different lane, We have that overarching similar goal, just a different lane. And that's what I was really attracted to as well.
Absolutely. Now, what are some of the lessons that you can take with you in this new position with SDCEO Women's Business Center?
Well, again, like I was just saying, it's similar in many ways. So supporting small businesses, local businesses, now with a much larger emphasis on women entrepreneurs. And we help everybody. We do not discriminate. We really want to focus on women, though. So that's what our programming will be about. So what did I learn from downtown Sioux Falls that I can take here? When I was at downtown Sioux Falls, if you walk up and down Phillips Avenue, Main Street, go into the Jones 421 building, go to 8th and Railroad, many of those brick and mortar businesses are owned by women already.
Wow. So
I was in a bubble in a way with downtown Sioux Falls because it really was, majority of business owned women or managed or run by women. So I already had a lot of experience working with downtown Sioux Falls through that aspect. And then also getting a glimpse into what the perspective is of a small business owner. So I am not a small business owner myself, but working with over 300 small businesses, you really get a glimpse into how hard they work, that it's not a 9 to 5, or it's not just during the hours that they're open. You are thinking about your business, how you're going to grow your business, how you're going to keep your business open, how you're going to keep your employees paid, how are you going to keep yourself paid, how do you do social media marketing, how are you going to do that newest TikTok trend, also on top of how am I doing payroll, should I switch from QuickBooks to my Square. So what I'm trying to depict is these business owners, they have so much on their mind, and I'm being able to take that perception to this new position is extremely helpful. As well as I know one thing for myself was that they needed somebody, and I saw this when this director position opened up, they needed somebody with the knowledge and insight of what the entrepreneur ecosystem looked like. Who are the other organizations? Who are the big players? Who are business owners that want to participate or might need help? And I feel really confident in knowing that around the Sioux Falls area, but I am looking forward to learning more about it across South Dakota, as well as they wanted somebody with passion and energy. And I am deeply moved and deeply passionate about all of these people who are making their dreams come true by opening their own business and really putting their stake in the ground of saying, I believe in myself enough, I believe in this idea enough that I want to be supported by it financially, mentally, emotionally. And so I love the idea of supporting people like that.
Absolutely. If you were just listening, Sadie Swier, she is the new director for the SDCEO Women's Business Center. Now, before we move on and talk about your new endeavor with this great organization, what will you miss the most about DTSF?
Ooh, that's a good question. Even though I will still be based out of Sioux Falls and based out of the downtown area,
this is the hardest question of the whole interview, by the way.
Oh my gosh. I will really miss our team. We had a great team at downtown Sioux Falls with the president, Joe Batchelor, our marketing extraordinaire, Tenley Schwartz, our events coordinator, Jared Indall. We just hired a new team member, and his name is Andrew Steinhaus. And then Dave and Martin, who are part of the Clean and Green team and our board and committees. And I will really miss the people and the community that we built around there. I'll miss being a walking distance away from all the great restaurants and happy hour places. And also just the fact that I truly believe that downtown Sioux Falls consistently creates impact, and impact that you can see in numbers and you can see in the vibrancy that's added to downtown. So what I will miss from downtown Sioux Falls is that fulfillment that I always got from all those events like Burger Battle and Riverfest, because you could see how our community was benefiting from the work we were doing with downtown Sioux Falls. And so I personally will really miss talking about all those great things that we were able to do.
Absolutely. If you are listening, I don't know, maybe you can tell or not, that Sadie and I are pretty good friends.
We are good friends.
If you can't
especially
tell,
Art and Wine Walk.
Yeah, especially during that time. Oh my
my
gosh. So when Sadie approached me about this new position, I got to be honest with you, I had no idea what this organization was. Seriously, when you told me the whole title of this and what it was, I literally nodded my head and said, yeah, okay. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I have no idea what this business is, but I'm very curious to learn more. So why don't you tell us about this organization? Because it is kind of fairly new here around this part and soon to be expanding in the West River side too.
Yes, and I'm very excited to talk more about it. And, you know, Christine, first off, I love our friendship, and I'm glad it did start with Art and Wine Walk with downtown Sioux Falls.
You love
and
that
thanks
story.
I do. And thank you for all your support through everything, truly. And so, yes, this new organization, and that's another reason I think they knew I would be a good director for this, is because I could bring more awareness around it. But the SCCO East is a new women's business center. Last August, it just opened up. So we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary of being open. But this is a service partner of the Small Business Administration. So this is a nonprofit organization. And I'm at a point where I need to learn all the numbers. But there's at least one in every state. But there's a women's business center federally funded through the Small Business Administration. So it really is, the mission is to empower women, which about gives me goosebumps right there. Empower women and propel economic development across South Dakota. So that is our mission. And it's very similar across many other women business centers. And we accomplish that mission by doing free one-on-one business consultations. And so those are 45 minutes long, and those can be over the phone, they can be over Zoom, those can be in person, but really with the idea that we are meeting with women. But again, we meet with everybody, meeting with women who might be in those first couple steps of following their dream and opening a business. And so that could be, hey, I have an idea. What do you think of this? Where should I start? To it could be, hey, I've had this idea for 10 years and I have a business plan and here's some marketing I want to do. Who should I talk to about my financials? So it could be something like that. But really, it's for anybody. So even a business owner that has been in business for 20 years and they say, okay, I have a brand new idea. I want to franchise, or I want to get into exporting or something like that. They can come talk to me. But I would love it if women across South Dakota have a space where they can feel comfortable and vulnerable and really share what they have, what their pain points are, where they're being challenged. And I want to help them. That's what I want to do. So we do those one-on-one business consultations, and you can sign up for those online, and it can be anybody across South Dakota. And then we also do programming. And to be completely honest with you, Christine, we are finding out exactly what that looks like. So what's very common is luncheons, which you're familiar with because you came to one a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did, yes.
And so the luncheons, it can be networking coffee meetings.
Yeah.
It can be day-long conferences. It can be really specific to the point where, we do intermediate social media boot camp to maybe something general like what we did, where we did a luncheon that you attended and we talked about different communication styles in the workplace between males and females. And then we did a little breath work and mindful exercise training. And so it can be really anything. So right now, what I'm trying to do is I have advising appointments, consultations scheduled, and anybody can do it. You can do it online. But also answering the question of what kind of programming do we need? What do women entrepreneurs in South Dakota want to see? Where do they need help? And from the people I've talked to, it's on the spectrum of we need trainings and workshops that really tell us the nitty gritty of how to do QuickBooks or the real nitty gritty of how to start a podcast, something like that. But then I hear it on the other end where some women business owners, they want community. They just want support. They want to find other women who might be having a tough time balancing being a mom and a business owner. And they want to just find somebody like that. So really finding what's the balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the question I'm trying to answer, but not by myself. So that's where we're at, but that's what our business center does. And we have it broken down into an East and West territory. So my East territory is Mitchell, South Dakota. Do we have listeners in Mitchell, South Dakota?
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Yes, we do. Shout out to Mitchell. And then we go to the East, North, South borders of South Dakota.
Oh, wow.
So that is where I am looking to really engage with, do some outreach. So if there's any listeners out there, especially women business owners, please reach out to me. I'm looking forward to meeting with you all. But, it's really across the whole state. And so what's interesting is there's a women's business center on the west side out of Spearfish, South Dakota. And they've actually been around for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so they're a fantastic team, and I've been working very closely with them, and they've been helping me out quite a bit. But they absolutely recognize that here on the east side of South Dakota, we just needed more support, and we needed another women's business center. So I am looking forward to traveling, going to Mitchell, Brookings, Yankton, Vermilion.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Where else can we go? Irene, Baltic, Del Rapids, Viborg, Hartford, Humboldt, everywhere.
Canton?
So Canton, yes.
Just name all of them.
Just reach out because I want to come see you. I want to come learn about your business. I want to see how the SBA can help you or any of these other free resources. And that's what I look forward to doing.
That's awesome. If you are just listening, Sadie Swier is with us in the studio. She's the new director for the SDCEO Women's Business Center. So I know that you know a lot of people, and it's never easy going into a new role and to just get out of your shell and to try something new. So when you were looking, or maybe you weren't looking, how did you come across this organization? Were you approached? Did someone just casually bring it up to you in a conversation about this great business? Not like how you found the job, but more like,
sure.
How did you really get to know this organization, and what made you want to be a part of that team?
I've gotten asked that question quite a bit because I loved my job at downtown Sioux Falls, and I really couldn't see myself working anywhere else. And I would say that and then follow up with, unless it's a really, really great opportunity, And so I saw myself at downtown for a while, but I was actually reached out to last August, so about a year ago, and the new director, Ashley Bigger. Shout out to Ashley Bigger. She's amazing. She's based out of Brookings. And we had coffee and had a great connection and a great friendship. And she taught me more about this new organization, which, again, talking about that road and those different lanes, I thought this SDCEO Women's Business Center in downtown Sioux Falls, I mean, great fit. We can collaborate. So we just kept in contact. And also, she asked me to be on her advisory board for SDCO East. So I've been on that board since last October.
Wow.
So I got to see behind the curtain a little bit and understand more about what was going on, what some of the challenges were about opening this new center, but also the progress and success and momentum and need for something like this.
Yeah.
And we had a great couple events, and there was actually a women's business leader panel in March for Women's History Month.
Nice.
And it was a full house, well received. There was this palpable, beautiful energy in the room. And you could tell women in our community, not just entrepreneurs, but women with that entrepreneurial spirit, maybe in a bank or insurance or nonprofit, they were hungry for these kinds of support networks. And so that's what got me really excited and really passionate about it. And Christine, I think you know this about me too, but I love supporting women.
Yes, you do.
I love building up ladies, and I just think women are so powerful and incredible, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. So
we don't.
I can't wait to do that and infuse that excitement for more women in our community. And so it was a little bit of that. And this position was open for quite a while, and for probably a couple months, I think. And again, I was on the advisory board, so I was getting some updates. But then I had a really close mentor of mine reach out and say, she took me by the shoulder and she said, "Hey, you have to have a conversation about this." And so then I kept looking at the position and I thought, yeah, I need to have a conversation about this. And so I reached out to a couple of my other mentors. So I don't know if that's like what you do when you look out, when you have big decisions, but you ask the people who are important in your life. And a lot of people were really supportive and said it made sense. So went through the interviewing process, and it just, the conversations were so easy, and everybody it made a lot of sense when we were doing it, and it was sitting really well with me. But I'll never forget to when the decision was made, I got the call about being hired, and the first person I talked to about it was my boss at downtown Sioux Falls, Joe Batchelor, and that was the hardest discussion to have. So I was crying when I had to tell him.
Imagine, yeah.
And it was so hard, but also bittersweet, because everybody at downtown Sioux Falls was so supportive and understanding, and I think people knew that it was my time for the next chapter, including myself. I realized that this would be a great next step and create a greater impact.
This is, I should say, the perfect opportunity for you. And it's growing. This part of the business is growing in the east side. You already said the west is pretty established, 15 years under their belt. So when you're coming up with different programs and events to offer women and business owners in general, have you been collaborating with the West offices just to kind of formulate some sort of plan?
Yes, great question. And so what's interesting too is that our fiscal year is coming up at the end of September. So we have to have plans, budgets, goals set for the upcoming year. So that's coming up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And yes, I am relying heavily on the onboarding and training from the West Side, because again, like you said, 15 years, and they've established themselves there. They have really built a great community and put a stake in the ground of saying, we are going to do a women's business conference. We are going to do women-focused business awards. We do a great networking luncheon. So yes, I will follow those structures and follow those kinds of setups to a degree, but I also want to make sure that I'm not duplicating any services that a ton of other great organizations do. I mean, I think of Startup Sioux Falls. I think of MB. I think of the Helpline Center. I think of, the SBA. I just want to make Downtown Sioux Falls, the Chamber. There's a lot of other entities that have established themselves as great organizations to work with too. So how am I filling gaps in services? Or if I'm duplicating a service, how am I doing it better?
Yeah.
And I think my strength, and I think this women's business center strength is going to be reaching outside of Sioux Falls. I think there's so many incredible, strong communities that are led by women and led by that little commerce area of main streets and downtowns. And I want to be able to connect everybody. And I want to be able to make sure that they feel like they are supported through the SBA, through state, through federal funding. So that is what we'll be doing. So yes, following the West Side, but learning a lot. And then how are we making sure that it fits the east side of South Dakota? Because east and west South Dakota,
they're different.
Yes. We love it. We love the whole state. We love the 605. But they're different.
Yes,
we're
different. And you know what? The community's going to learn with you. We're all going to grow and learn with you when it comes to this new chapter, this new organization, the luncheons. Yeah, they're a big part of that. It's good for professional development reasons. And you know me and my schedule. I normally don't have time for luncheons like this.
But you made time.
But I did it for you. I made
Thank
time.
you.
And coming from an all-girl high school, I did go to an all-girl high school.
That's right.
It felt good to be kind of like I was back in the classroom learning more about different communication styles, because let's face it, I think COVID changed things when it comes to communicating in person or communicating online. It's still different styles, and you just have to find a way to adapt to those situations. And I think this organization is going to be great for communication. It's going to be great for empowering women.
Yes.
And there are a lot of ways that business owners, and even maybe potential business owners, if they have dreams of becoming entrepreneurs, there are plenty of ways for them to get involved with this new organization, fairly new organization, the SDCEO Women's Business Center. Sadie Swier is the new director for the East Side location. And Sadie, I hate to wrap up a good conversation.
That's okay.
But we covered a lot. And if anybody has any more questions about this organization, what website can they go to, and what's your email to contact?
Yes, so you can visit, it's the Black Hills State University website. So don't be deterred from that, because we are, like I said, federally funded. And so the Black Hills State is our financial agent and partner there. So it's a Black Hills State University website. But if you look up SDCEO East Women's Business Center, you will find that landing page, and there's a big button that says business advising, and that is where you click onto that, and then you'll sign up as a client and request a meeting. So you can do that, and you'll get an email from me, and we can set up a meeting time. And again, that is phone call, that is Zoom, and online meeting. So again, it doesn't have to be in person. We can do it anywhere. So that's our landing page. And then you can email me at Sadie, SADIE .Swier, SWIER at BHSU.edu. And I would love to hear from all the listeners outside of Sioux Falls or in Sioux Falls, any women business owner that is looking to get connected. I can't wait for the future of this organization and the future of our state and community, and the strength of our amazing, amazing economic backbone is our small businesses.
Once again, Sadie Swier, thanks for joining, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes,
I love this.
Love this. We'll definitely talk to you down the road. I'm Christine Manica, and you've been listening to Sunday Focus.
Sunday Focus is a public affairs program of Results Radio Town Square Media, Sioux Falls.